Hello everyone, I am going to present on vascular characteristics of proliferative diabetic retinopathy patients on OCT angiography. So the vascular characteristics which are seen in diabetic retinopathy patients on fundus fluorescein angiography are, we see a lot of capillary non-perfusion areas. So the FFA helps in differentiating retinal arterial channels from venous ones. It helps in differentiating abnormal retinal neovascularization from compensatory vessels and hemorrhages from microaneurysms, telangiectasias, or clusters of vessels. So to compare fundus fluorescein angiography versus OCT angiography, we see that fundus fluorescein angiography has got wide field capabilities. It's an invasive test based on dye. It has got a lower resolution. It gives 2D images, so segmentation is not possible. It images mainly the superficial retina. It gives information about the dynamic blood flow, and the normal imaging time takes roughly 5 to 30 minutes. On the other hand, OCT angiography, so the field of view is limited to a maximum of 12 into 12 mm. It's a non-invasive technique, does not use any dye. It has got a higher resolution. It gives 3D images, so segmentation is possible. It images superficial, deep outer retina as well as choroid. It gives information about the static blood flow, and the normal imaging time takes roughly about 5 minutes. So the type of study that we did was a cross-sectional study, included 33 patients with 52 eyes. So the inclusion criteria was patients with fundoscopic findings suggestive of PDR with neovascularization at the disc or elsewhere, patients who gave the consent to be a part of study, and all treatment naive patients were included in the study. The exclusion criteria was patients with non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy, the patients having coexisting retinopathy like anemic, sickle cell or others, patients who had undergone some form of treatment in the form of PRP laser or vitrectomy, and patients with comorbid debilitating disease. So the OCT angiography images were taken by Carl Zeiss Angioplex. It was analyzed by OMAG algorithm used in Angioplex software. A 4-wheel centered scan was taken covering an area of 6 into 6 or 8 into 8 mm pattern. So the vessel density is defined as the total length of perfused vasculature per unit area. The superficial layer was taken from the internal limiting membrane to the inner plexiform layer. The limit of the inner plexiform layer is taken as 70% of the distance from the internal limiting membrane to the outer plexiform layer. The manual measurement was done to determine the foveal avascular zone. The foveal avascular zone diameter was marked using the polygon selection tool, and its area was recorded in mm square. So this is a normal OCT angiography image. In the left side, we see that the assessment can be done at various layers of the retina. In the center, we see that the quadrant-wise vessel density analysis is being done. And in the bottom right corner, we see two charts depicting vessel density and foveal avascular zone. So what were the characteristics studied? We determined the visual acuity. We recorded the percentage of patients with showing capillary dropout and neovascularization at the disc or elsewhere. Then foveal avascular zone area was recorded in mm square in the superficial as well as deep plexus. The capillary density, vessel density was taken in the superficial as well as deep plexus. The measurements were taken in the ETDRS in mm per mm square. So this was the result. We saw that capillary dropout was seen in 84% of the eyes. NVT or NVE was seen in 71% of the eyes. The visual acuity ranged from 0 to 1.9 logmar with an average value of 0.95. The foveal avascular zone in superficial plexus was ranged from 0.101 to 1.581 with an average value of 0.682 mm square. In the deep plexus, it ranged from 0.233 to 1.337 with an average value of 0.801 mm square. The capillary vessel density in the superficial plexus ranged from 6.8 to 26.5 with an average value of 16.863, and in the deep plexus it ranged from 6.4 to 23.8 with an average value of 16.15. So two qualitative parameters were taken, neovascularization and capillary dropout, and two quantitative parameters were taken, foveal avascular zone and capillary vessel density, at both superficial as well as deep layers. We again want to highlight that the study of deep plexus is not possible in fundus fluorescein angiography. We also detected increased foveal avascular zone in both superficial as well as deep plexus, which was consistent with reduced vessel density which was found in both the plexus. So the question arises, why should we do OCT angiography? It's a non-invasive, fast imaging study, can easily detect or rule out diabetic retinopathy changes. It can classify the changes and enable when to or when not to start the treatment, and it is especially helpful in India given the vast population of diabetic patients. So to conclude, in the current study, the NVD or NVE, capillary dropout, enlargement of foveal avascular zone, and the capillary density are the parameters studied. All the parameters can be easily identified and studied on OCT angiography and comparison made with the normal, which helps to identify the patients with diabetic retinopathy as well as categorize them into severity. So the OCT angiography software enables to quantify the foveal avascular zone, vessel density at fovea, and parafoveal region, which helps in determining the severity of diabetic retinopathy and monitoring the disease progression and response to treatment. Thank you.